Well, greetings and salutations. This is Rick. I hope everyone's having a great day. Welcome to my allotment, and this is part 2 of my constructing the thingy thing, and I'm going to be getting on with that today. Now, I'm going to make a few little changes. I want to say thanks to everybody for your suggestions and comments on my previous video, because there's a lot of information there that was really quite useful, and it kind of reinforced some of the thoughts I was having. So I'm going to make a couple of little changes. Now, first thing I'm going to do today, in fact, it'd probably be easier if I bring you down here and show you. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually detach this structure from the shed, so that I can tip the shed over, and I'm actually going to put some runners under the shed, so it's like up on stilts, and that'll keep it off the wet ground. Now, I should have done this to start with, but at the time I just didn't have enough wood, and I was pressed for time, so I just sort of needed to get on and build it. But that's what I'm going to do today, and then it means this will also be raised off the ground, because it's obviously got to go up to the same height. So I'm going to put it on little stilts or whatever, and then hopefully that's going to keep it out of the water, off the wet ground, and I should be getting a few more extra years out of it. All theory, of course, but hopefully it's going to work. Now, I also had a lot of comments regarding where I've got the door. Obviously, this is the doorway. Some folk were saying that I really ought to put the door this side, because obviously this is all sort of going to be dead space with the doors opening and shutting, etc. Now, to be honest, it's a bit awkward having the door here, because obviously if I had it right up against the edge, which is going to be the strongest point, with the corner bit, it's going to be bashing into here. And I mean, even if I had it in the middle, I'm still sort of too close to this. So to be honest, I think the door going here is probably just about right, because I've got some space to mess about with. The thing with the door, I've also had some suggestions of why don't I flip it over so it opens this way. Again, it's a possibility, but to be honest, what I was actually thinking was I'll have a bench or a work area here, and the door will just open at 90 degrees. It doesn't actually need to go right the way back. So I'm still going to be able to have a workbench here. I'll still have space here. I can put, I was thinking perhaps like tomato plants or something. It's a nice little run here. So I'm not too worried about that, because it's not necessarily all about space saving. Because if it was, I wouldn't be doing these little pallet collars. But no, I'm quite happy with the door being here. I've also had some tips regarding the windows, and people saying don't use polythene because it won't last very long. And yeah, I sort of agree. I think that's a good move. I'm going to be temporarily using polythene simply because it's arrived now, and I haven't got any other materials at the moment. And the polycarbonate twin wall, which is has been suggested, I think Dan suggested that. I think it's a really good idea. The problem is it's really expensive, so I need to save up the pennies again. So what I'll probably be doing is using polythene as a temporary measure, and then at a later date kind of sit back and reconsider the windows. Perhaps even, one thing I was thinking of perhaps was making a window frame that tilts on a pivot, so I've got some sort of control over it, and then obviously a latch at the top and the bottom. Don't know, but I can worry about those a bit later on. But for now, I'm just going to use polythene. Right, I'm going to get on with this. There we go. It's up on stilts now, so it might even give me a few extra years. Also got a very slightly better angle on the roof, so it's slightly lower at this end, more than it was before, so I should get a better run on the water. Right then, time to fit the roof. It's got a bit dirty. I think I'll give it a clean before I put it up there. Be easy, won't it? I also got asked a couple of questions in last week's video. One was, what was the name of the flowers that were in my the little crate thing that I had last year? They were Rudbeckia Marmalade, and also I keep getting asked what sort of camera do I use. There we go. I'm currently using, it's a tiny little thing, it's a little tiny palm recorder, and it's the Panasonic HC-V100. So I keep getting lots of comments on people saying the quality is very good, and I must admit I've been incredibly impressed with this tiny little camera. But there again, I've always been impressed with Panasonic goods. They've always, any kind of audio-visual stuff that I've bought that's been Panasonic has always been very, very good. I've always been quite impressed by it. So there we go. So it's the Panasonic HC-V100. Tiny little thing, about, I think they're about £200. Right, let's fit this roof. Now, let me show you something. You're going to have to be wobbled around for a minute. When I... Oops, it's fallen over. When I put these up, I made sure that there was a gap between here, so that these sheets can actually tuck inside. So obviously if any water splashes down, hopefully you can see that. I haven't got my screen on. Where are we? So if any water... I zoomed out. So yeah, if any water splashes out here, it's going to land on here and hopefully go that way and not down inside. I may also, when this is up, I may also put some sort of a maybe a squirt of that foam or something in there, just so that the water actually does go down that way. I've done it in such a way that there's only a tiny little lip overhanging, only about an inch. That's all I want. Any more and it can become a potential wind trap, so I want it to be sort of minimal, but obviously I do need an overhang just to keep it off the wood. For fasteners I'm using these things, which are little squishy things, and these bolts that come with them, sorry, screws, and I'm just going to push that through, and then obviously when that fastens, that's hopefully going to make a watertight seal around the bolt, around the screw, to stop the water going down into the wood, and also these little caps go over and protect the head of the screw. So hopefully, again, they should provide a good few years worth of service. That's one battery dead. I've actually got another battery on order now. I know some people were suggesting inverters. There's some nice cheap inverters around at the moment. I have to say I used to own one, and they're really fussy when it comes to charging things. What I found is the cheap inverters are really good if you want things to go around in a circle. So, you know, if you want to rig it up to, I don't know, a blender or a hoover or something with a rotating motor on it, they do really well. But if you've got anything kind of slightly electronic, like for example charging batteries, one of the reasons I bought an inverter sort of a little while back was to charge batteries and things like that, and half of them, or 3/4 of them, it wouldn't work. The battery charger just wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. It just didn't like the flavour of the electricity that the inverter was giving it. So if I was going to get an inverter, you'd have to get a really kind of proper one and a really expensive one. But I just can't justify it. But maybe later on we'll see. Because an inverter, a proper decent inverter, you're looking at sort of £300-400, but you can actually get a small Jenny for about 130 now. So, but obviously they're a lot bulkier. I don't know, but it's something that's just not on my shopping list at the moment. Right, this I should say, let me show you so far. This roof fitting has not gone as smoothly as I'd hoped. You can see it's looking a bit looking a bit wobbly. It's very flexible, this stuff. Obviously gravity is playing a role here, so I'm going to need to put in some kind of a batten up here just to sort of get this up so that we end up with the desired slope that we want, because at the moment if the water hits it, it's going to fall into here. If I show you just put this ladder thing up. If I show you here, that you can see it looks pretty messy at the moment, but obviously I should be tidying that up before I move on to other things. Right, back to the grindstone. Oh, that sun's getting hot. I've had to put my hat on. Right, roof's finished. It's not gone on as neatly as I was hoping. If you look at it above, it's a little bit, it's gone a little bit wonky. I'm hoping it's going to be okay. I was thinking I may have to put some of the foam up against this bit, but to be honest, I had to put these battens on because it was kind of sloping down. So since I put these battens up, it's definitely got that kind of downward slope thing going on. So I think if I stand back and have a look, there's a very distinct slope on it. So I'm hoping it's going to be okay. So obviously I can't tell until it rains, but I should make a point of coming out here when it does rain. Although I have got one slight little problem where I accidentally went through with the drill and punched a hole in it, so I'm going to have to get some sort of something to go in that just to sort of seal it up, otherwise, because it's right in a trough as well, so any water that goes in this trough is going to come straight inside, so I'll have to put some sort of sealer in that, but I can sort that out another day. So we have our roof, so if it rains I've got a shelter. I also screwed it on at the sides, on both sides. Got very minimal overhang on the front, so hopefully the wind can't get underneath it. I've screwed it down to the sides as well. It doesn't look particularly tidy, but hopefully it's going to be functional. And also it's been every other peak has got a screw in it, so hopefully it's not going to go anywhere in the high winds. So then, next up is the cladding. I'm basically going to put the cladding on all of these side bits, and hopefully I can get that done today. That'd be good. Now for the cladding, I'm using pressure treated wood, so this has actually been treated for outdoor use, so hopefully it doesn't matter the fact that I won't be able to coat the inside of it where it meets up against the actual wood. It shouldn't be a problem. Once it's on, I should coat it on the outside, and I think it's going to be fine for many years. Now the question is, what do I do about the gap at the bottom? I could overlap it to the floor, or I could, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I could just fill the whole lot with some of that expanding foam. Because if it comes off the stilts at any point, it's going to be resting on the feather edge, which isn't going to be ideal. So I think I'm going to make the bottom of the feather edge line up with the very bottom of the wood, and I think I'll just find other ways to fill that gap underneath, otherwise I'm going to have every creature in the land taking shelter in there in the winter. Right, there we go, all finished. It's taken quite a long time actually, because a lot of this I had to saw by hand. Even though it's quite thin, it's very wet, so it made it very difficult to saw it. This and this I didn't need to saw because they're 2.4 meters long, which is the length of the wood that I bought. But yeah, it's looking okay. Obviously got this round here, and I decided to go all the way up at the back wall there. Originally I was thinking of making a window, but to be honest there isn't a thing going across here, and I thought it was probably better just to do that. So that's looking good, happy with that. Ooh, gap. Never spotted that. I might have to have a little tweak. That's no problem, I can just move these two up a little bit and close that gap. I should do that now. And then I have to paint it, so I shall get that done and hopefully get enough paint left over so I can do that. Where are we? That side of the shed, down between the two sheds there. But I'll try to do that first, otherwise I've got to shimmy past wet paint down there. So right, that's next on the cards. Now I've stopped doing time-lapse recording because I've only got about 20 minutes left on the card. I've got plenty of battery, but I'm running out of card space. If it's not one thing, it's another, isn't it? So right, I'm going to get on with the painting, and then I will come back to you. Right then, so there we have it, all painted up, I've got a tiny little bit of paint left, and I've yet to build the door, so I'm going to need to paint the door, you know, I'm going to need that paint to paint the door when it's done. And I've basically run out of stud work. I was hoping to use some of the scrap wood I've got from down the bottom, but to be honest it's all a bit too far gone, and so I might be able to make up some little table-y type things later on. I'm not sure, but I need to go back to the shop and get some of this stud work. Now I'm not too unhappy about that because it's in Wicks. They sell this basic stud work, and it's their red pencil prices, so I think it's about £1.80 a piece, which is very, very cheap as far as wood goes. The only thing is it's completely untreated, so I have to, you know, get some treatment on it fairly quick. But I'm hoping that's gonna I'm gonna use the same wood to make the door, and possibly some of the benches and things, and the seat, and a place to, you know, put the kettle on, and a little potting bench. Inside I'm actually thinking of building perhaps a wooden potting compost reservoir, so my potting might be you know, that little bit easier. I don't know. I've already got this green tray thing, but it's not quite big enough. So anyway, I shall figure out the planning and the interior decor at a later date. I'm absolutely exhausted today, so I'm going to go off home. It's quite, well, it's sort of early evening now, and I've been basically at this all day, and it really does take a long time to do this stuff. Obviously, you know, you're watching speeded up footage of me doing this, but it's, you know, these sort of projects can go on for a little while, but to be honest, I love it. I really do enjoy doing this kind of hands-on building stuff. It's just really it really floats my boat. It's you know, it just kind of makes this whole thing more fun, you know. So anyway, there we are, that's it. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of the day. Looks like there's going to be a part 3 video coming along at some point in the very near future. Until then, thanks for watching and take care.